All right, guys. First of all, good morning. Thank you for coming to this class. This is what we are going to do today. Number one, we're going to remember what we learned last class. Remember last class, we studied a new tense. We studied the simple present tense. So first, we're going to review that. We're going to remember. And today, we will continue with negative statements, questions, and WH questions in simple present tense. We also will practice how to write daily routines in simple present tense through Padlet. Remember Padlet when we use Padlet? So we're going to practice that today. And today I will send you the first homework, the first one, all right? So that is what we're going to do today. Any questions before we start, guys? Any questions before we start? No questions? So let's start, guys. Let's start, guys, okay? Let me share my screen. Okay, and let's start, okay? Remember, last class we studied a new tense. The name of the tense is simple present tense, okay? And we said that we use simple present tense to express habits, customs, or routines. So that is the use of simple present tense. Remember, every time that you want to express habits, customs, or routines, you will use simple present tense, all right? So that is a use. Then we said that there is a golden rule. There is a specific characteristic of this tense. And I call it the golden rule. That is the way that I call it, the golden rule. And what is the golden rule, teacher? Well, the golden rule is that we only conjugate the verb when we refer to third person of singular. And what is the third person of singular? He, she, and it. So every time that you refer to he, she, and it, you change the verb, you conjugate the verb. What happens to the rest of the persons? The rest of the persons stay the same. The rest of the persons stay the same. They don't change. Only when you refer to he, she, and it. That is the golden rule, okay? Well, we said that we changed the verb according to some rules. Remember, we also reviewed the rules. Well, rule number one, for most verbs, when you refer to he, she, and it, you add an S for most verbs. That is the first rule. For most verbs, be careful, it says must, not all, mucho ojo, dice para la mayoría, no para todos, must. For most verbs, you add an S when you refer to he, she, and it. For example, live, lives, sit, sits, stay, stays, play, plays, run, runs, and you emphasize it, of course. That is the key. You emphasize it. You emphasize the S. Rule number one. Well, when you have a verb that ends in Y, and before Y there is a consonant, what do you do in that case? Well, you substitute the consonant, you substitute the Y for I, and you add ES. I repeat, when you have a verb that ends in Y, and before Y there is a consonant, for example, try. Try ends in Y, and before Y there is a consonant. What do you do in that case? In that case, you substitute the Y for I, and you add ES. The verb is try. If you refer to third person of singular, that is tries, and you emphasize it. The verb is carry. The third person of singular is carries, and you emphasize it. right? Okay, so that is rule number 2. Rule number 3, when you have verbs that end in S, CH, S, what do you do in that case? In that case, you add ES to the verb. You add ES. For example, the verb is miss. When you refer to third person of singular, that is misses, and you emphasize it. The verb is catch. For third person of singular is catches. The verb is teach. For third person of singular, that is teaches. The verb is fix. For third person of singular, that is fixes, and you emphasize it. Finally, for every rule, we have exceptions. I repeat, for every rule, we have exceptions. And in simple present tense, we're going to study 3 exception verbs. The first verb is go. Go is the verb. If you refer to third person of singular, that is goes. The verb is do. For third person of singular is does. The verb is have. For third person of singular is has. So those are the 3 exception verbs. I repeat it. The first exception verb, go. Go is the verb. If you refer to third person of singular, that is goes. The verb is do. For third person of singular is does. The verb is have. For third person of singular is has. And those are the rules. Okay. Well, after that we review the rules, now we have to do, or we have to write affirmative statements. And here we will apply the rules. Remember, only, solamente, only when you refer to third person of singular. The rest of the persons don't change. All right? So let's see some examples here. For example, I eat pizza every weekend. We also say that in this tense, we will use some terminations. We have some terminations in simple present tense. For example, every weekend, every day, every Wednesday, every week, every night, every month, every year, right? So as you can see, I have the subject here, which is I. The verb is eat, and the complement is pizza, you see? In this case, I don't conjugate the verb because I refer to I. It's not third person of singular, right? So that's why I don't conjugate the verb. But let's check this example. Mary runs in the park. As you can see, Mary is third person of singular, she, right? So in that case, I conjugate the verb. The verb is run. The third person of singular is runs. As you can see, I apply rule number 1. That is simple present tense, guys. Ese es el presente simple, chicos. Esa es toda la clave. Cada vez que usted se refiera a he, she, or it, conjuga el verbo de acuerdo a las reglas que estudiamos. All right, let's see. Another example. Carlos studies English every Wednesday. As you can see, Carlos is third person of singular. The base form is study, but I refer to Carlos, so I conjugate the verb. What is the third person of study? Studies, and I emphasize it. Very simple, right? Here, it rains every day. The verb is rain, but I refer to third person of singular. Okay, in this case is rains. Llueve todos los días. Okay, it is third person of singular. And finally, we run in the park every week. In this case, you see, I don't conjugate the verb because it's not third person of singular. Okay, So that is what we studied last class, remember? Well, during the practice, I observed some mistakes. During the practice, I observed some mistakes of you. So be careful with this. Be careful with this. I heard this. I am eat pizza every weekend. As you can see, in this case, some of you add the verb be. Alguien agregó el verbo be aquí. And I say, no, that is not correct. In this moment, we forget about the verb be. Ya nos olvidamos del verbo be. De hecho, no tendría mucho sentido si veo la oración. Mire lo que diría aquí. Aquí diría, yo soy o yo estoy como pizza todos los fines de semana. Yo soy como pizza todos los fines de semana. No tiene sentido, ¿verdad? Okay? So this is incorrect because you don't use the verb be in simple present tense. It is a common mistake. Es un error común por si acaso. Pero aquí lo corrige de una vez. Another common mistake. Mary runs in the park every day. No, that is also incorrect. También está incorrecto. Because you don't use the verb be in simple present tense. No lo utilizamos el verbo be. Same thing here. Carlos studies. No, that is also incorrect. You see, when you use the verb be, when we use the simple present tense, we don't use the verb be. You see, we only have the subject, the verb, and the complement. Solo el sujeto, el verbo y complemento. ¿Ok, Félix? Ahí sí, Félix, ¿ya lo corregiste?
Yes.
I see. Okay, perfect. Very good. Okay, so that is what we studied last class, right? What are we going to study today? Well, today we're going to study negative statements, how to make negative statements, guys. That is what we're going to study today. Okay, and be careful with this. Mucho ojo con esto. Starting from negative statements, we will need auxiliaries. I repeat, starting from negative statements, we will use auxiliaries in all tenses. En todos los tiempos, chicos. Cuando ya empecemos a hacer oraciones negativas, necesitaremos auxiliares. In all tenses. Okay? In all tenses. We will need auxiliaries. Okay? Now, what are the auxiliaries in simple present tense? What are the auxiliaries in simple present tense? All right. Well, in simple present tense, we have two auxiliaries. We have the auxiliary do and we have the auxiliary does. See? Now, when do we use do and when do we use does? That is the question. Esa es la pregunta, ¿verdad, chicos? Si ya sé que hay dos auxiliares para el presente simple, does y do, ¿cuándo utilizo cada uno de ellos? Very simple. We use does for he, she, and it. And we use do for the rest of the persons. For I, we, you, and they. All right? I repeat, because this is something new. Lo repito porque es algo nuevo, ¿verdad? Starting from negative statements, we will use auxiliaries in all tenses. In simple present tense, we have two auxiliaries. We have the auxiliary does and we have the auxiliary do. When do we use does? We use does for third person of singular. He, she, and it. And we use do for the rest of the persons. I, we, you, and they. Simple, right? Okay. Now, remember this. We also have a golden rule in negative statements. I repeat, we also have a golden rule in negative statements. What is the golden rule of negative statements? Be careful with this because this is the key, guys. This is the key, guys. This is the key. Esta es la clave, chicos, para las negativas. every time that you use an auxiliary, remember in simple present tense, we have two auxiliaries. We have the auxiliary do and we have the auxiliary does.
Good morning, mister.
Hello, Dayanara. So every time that you use,
Sorry
every,
for being late.
don't worry, don't worry. So every time that you use an auxiliary, in this case, do or does, the verb returns to the base form. Remember that in affirmative statements, we conjugate the verb, runs, plays. Remember that? Well, when you write negative statements and you use auxiliaries, that verb returns to the base form. It's not runs, it's run. It's not play, it's play. Why? Because you are using an auxiliary. That is the golden rule. How is that, teacher? Can you explain me that, teacher? Not a problem. Let's see some examples, guys. Veamos unos ejemplos, chicos. Okay? Let's see. These are some examples of negative statements. Okay? Let's see. The subject is I. So I use do because it is the auxiliary for I, right? I do not because it's negative, or I can say I don't eat pizza. You see, you can use the complete form, which is do not, or you can use the contraction. The contraction is don't, the complete form is do not. Simple, right? Okay. Here, nothing changed because I refer to I. Let's see how the verb returns to the base form when I'm using third person of singular. Okay, let's see. Let's check the second example. Mary, she, right? Mary does not or doesn't run in the park every day. As you can see, the verb here return to the base form. Why? Because I use an auxiliary. Aquí está la explicación. ¿Sí ven? El verbo regresó a su forma base. Si ven que ya no es runs, sino es run. ¿Por qué? Porque utilicé un auxiliar. En este caso, la forma completa does not or the contraction doesn't. That is the golden rule, guys. Very, very simple, right? Muy sencillo, ¿verdad? Let's check another example. Carlos does not or doesn't study English every Wednesday. As you can see here, the verb returns to the base form. ¿Sí ven? El verbo regresó a su forma base. ¿Sí ven? Another one. It does not or it doesn't rain every day. Here again, the verb returned to the base form. Why? Because I am using an auxiliary, right? That is the key of negative statements. I heard somebody was talking to me. No? No questions? All right. So that is.
Mister,
Yes, go ahead, Santiago.
no es sobre el tema, sino que no, yo falté la clase pasada y no sé dónde está el código de acceso al Classroom de su materia. El de italiano ya sé y el de francés ya sé, pero el de inglés no lo encuentro.
Y recién me lo pregunta Santiago, ya casi vamos a terminar el curso. Ya se lo doy, no hay ningún problema. Lo voy a copiar el link en el chat de la clase, ¿ok? All right, Santiago. You have the link in the chat, okay? All right. So, Aurora, you heard
Ok,
that?
gracias.
Pilar, you heard? Is that clear? ¿Está claro, chicos? Dayanara, is clear? Catherine?
Yes, mister.
Felix is clear. So can we practice? You see that? It's very simple. If you want to make negative statements, you will use auxiliaries. You have two auxiliaries in simple present tense, do and does. We use does for he, she, and it. We use do for the rest of the persons. And what is the golden rule here in simple present tense? Very simple. The rule is that every time that we use negative statements, especially every time that we use an auxiliary, the verb immediately returns to the base form. That is the key. Esa es la clave del verbo del presente simple, chicos. Cada vez que utiliza un auxiliar, inmediatamente el verbo regresará a su forma base. Si estaba conjugado, regresa a su forma base. That is the key. All right. So having said that, habiendo dicho eso, let's practice some grammar exercises with negative statements. Here in the chat, I am sending you a link. Estoy viendo un link, right? You have the link. Okay. You have that? You got the link, Felix? Catherine, you got the link?
Yes, teacher.
All right. So that is a practice with negative statements in simple present tense, all right? As you can see, we're going to practice the use of the auxiliaries, all right? So we have here some sentences, very simple, of course. And we have some options. Let's see the first one. I will only help you with the first one, okay? I space play the guitar. I space play the guitar. And we have two options. I doesn't play the guitar or I don't play the guitar. Which is the correct answer, guys?
Don't.
I
don't play the guitar.
I don't play the guitar. But why? Pero dígame por qué. Porque no es adivinanza, por si acaso. Todo tiene una razón. ¿Por qué?
Porque es solo una y no es plural.
No, that is not the answer. Esa no es la respuesta científica.
Porque no es
Es
tercera
singular,
persona.
la primera persona del singular.
Exactly, Maya. Because it is not third person of singular. Porque no es he, she, and it. Por eso va ahí. Okay? That is the correct answer. Okay? So you do the rest and then we compare. Hagan ustedes el resto y luego los comparamos, chicos. Okay? You have 2 minutes. 2 minutos.
Una pregunta, teacher, question.
Go ahead.
Snipe es he, she, it, o no sé. Snipe fly.
Snail es it.
Ya.
You know what is a snail? Los caracoles. ¿Ah? Un caracol. A snail, un caracol.
Finish.
All right, 1 more minute. Un minuto más. We're just practicing, solo estamos practicando. This is the warm up. Este es el calentamiento. Ya vamos a hacer el ejercicio más fuerte.
Profe, tengo otra pregunta.
Yes, go ahead, vamos, este es el momento, hágalo.
Tigril no es ellas y sería don't. ¿Por qué sale doesn't?
¿Dónde está?
La chica y this girl go to the disco.
No, porque es esta chica. ¿Cuántas son? Una, esta chica.
Ya, 3.
Es una sola, ¿verdad? Esta chica. All right, let's see. Okay, as I see you here on my screen, como las veo aquí en mi pantalla. Let's start. Number 2, Maya, you
don't tidy your room.
You don't tidy your room. Catherine, number 3, she
Doesn't.
doesn't buy meat. You see, she
It
doesn't
doesn't buy me.
Ella no compra carne. ¿Sí ven? A ver, antes que me olvide, mucho ojo. De aquí es la famosa frase, de aquí nace la famosa frase, yo no hablo inglés, porque eso es lo primero que usted aprende para evitar que alguien le pregunte algo. Yo no hablo inglés. ¿Cómo será entonces yo no hablo inglés?
I
I don't speak English.
Miren, 20 años sabiendo de dónde, sin saber de dónde viene esa frase, y ya la sabe, la respuesta científica, obviamente, ¿no? I don't speak English. Entonces, con base en esto, cuando ya no entienda algo, usted le puede decir al profesor, profesor, no entiendo esta clase, o no entiendo este ejercicio. ¿Cómo será?
I don't
understand.
this class.
Teacher, I don't understand the class. I don't understand this exercise, teacher. Mire, ya sé de dónde sale, Dios mío. Tuve que esperar 18 años para saber de dónde venía eso. All right, let's see. Next one. Dayanara,
He doesn't sing rock.
absolutely. He doesn't sing rock. Absolutely. Let's see. Who else? ¿Quién sigue? Melissa, a snail.
A snail doesn't fly.
Absolutely. A snail doesn't fly. You know the snail, el caracol? Okay, be careful, guys. You can say a snail doesn't fly, but you can also use the complete form. Remember, you have two forms. Saben dos formas, ¿verdad? La completa y la contracción. You can say a snail does not fly, or you can say a snail doesn't fly. It's up to you. You know two forms. Sabe dos formas, ¿verdad, Pilar? ¿Verdad, Belisa? Usted elige la que usted quiera. All right. Next one. Anaís, we
don't live in Egypt.
We don't live in Egypt. We don't live in Egypt. Miren, ya usted podrá decir que no vive en Egipto. Very good. Pilar, you.
You don't have a boat. A boat.
Absolutely, Pilar. Wow. You don't have a boat.
Have
Miren, tú no
boat.
tienes un bote. Tú no tienes un bote. Miren. Okay. Next. Ariana. Dave. Ariana.
They don't clear the bedroom.
Absolutely. Carla. This girl.
This girl doesn't go to the disco.
Absolutely. Tamara. Bats. Plural.
But don't like it.
Absolutely. Very, very good. All right, guys. Oh, I'm impressed. Estoy muy impresionado. So this is the way we do negative statements. This is the way we do negative statements, guys. So any questions before we continue with the next part? ¿Alguna pregunta antes de ir con la siguiente parte? Mire, ya sabemos afirmativos y ya sabemos negativos. Domenica, any question, miss? Can we continue with questions? ¿Podemos seguir con las preguntas? All right. So we know affirmative statements in simple present tense, and we know negative statements, all right? How do we make questions in simple present tense? Very, very simple. Very, very simple, right? Let me share my screen. Every time that you want to make questions, every time that you want to make questions in simple present tense, You will write the auxiliary first. Utilizará siempre el auxiliar primero. You see, I repeat, every time that you want to make questions in simple present tense, you will write the auxiliary first. Siempre escribirá el auxiliar primero. Simple like that. Miren. Do you eat pizza every weekend? As you can see, now the auxiliary is do. Why do I use do? Because I refer to you. ¿Sí ven? El sujeto es you, por lo tanto el auxiliar será do. Y como es pregunta, el auxiliar es primero. Do you eat pizza every weekend? Based on this, basados en esto, ustedes escucharán siempre la pregunta del profesor. Maya, do you understand? Ah, do you understand? ¿Entiendes,
Yes, I do.
Maya? Ah,
Yes, I do.
here we go. Aquí vamos de nuevo. ¿Se acuerdan cuando en el verbo be, cuando estudiamos el verbo be en el curso anterior, yo le decía que yes y no no son respuestas? Aquí también es lo mismo. Aquí respondemos con do y con das. ¿Cómo, profesor? Veamos. Si yo le pregunto a Maya, Maya, do you understand the class? There is
Yes, I
only
do.
two possible options. I mean, there's two possible options. Solo hay dos opciones posibles, ¿verdad? Que sí le entienda o que no le entienda. My or her affirmative answer. Su respuesta afirmativa. Yes, I do. Sí, teacher. Sí entiendo. Me refiero a que sí entiendo la clase. O si no entiendo. No, teacher. I don't. No, teacher. I don't. No entiendo, profesor. ¿La puede repetir otra vez? You see? Let's check another example. Does Mary run in the park every day? Does Mary run in the park every day? You see? ¿Corre Mary en el parque todos los días? I am using the auxiliary first. You see? Ahora utilizo el auxiliar primero porque es una pregunta. And as you can see, the verb continues in base form. Why? Because I am using an auxiliary. For this question, I have two possible answers. Solo hay dos respuestas posibles, ¿verdad, chicos? Yes, she does. No, she doesn't. Sí, ella sí corre. Me refiero a que sí corre en el parque.
Licenciado, una pregunta.
Yes, go ahead, Natasha.
Do solo se pone al principio cuando es plural y dois cuando es singular.
No, totalmente equivocada, Natasha.
Ay,
Ya habíamos dicho que das no es de plural y singular, no. Das es for he, she, and it. Das. Como puedes ver, aquí está das, porque Mary es she. Y do es para el resto de personas. I, we, you, and they. Lo repito. Das solamente para he, she, and it. Do para el resto de personas. Mira el siguiente ejemplo, Natasha. Does Carlos study English? Puse does porque Carlos es he. Does it rain every day? Puse does porque it es tercera persona del singular. Ah. Y mira la última. Do we? Puse do porque we es primera persona del plural. No es ni he, ni she, and it. Solo cuando nos refiramos a he, she, or it, ahí utilizamos does. All right? Okay? So based on this, basados en esto, incluso ya podemos empezar a formular más preguntas, ¿verdad? ¿Qué otras preguntas podríamos hacer en presente simple, profesor? ¿Any ideas, Ariana? Maya? ¿Any ideas? Carla? Tamara? Ya ahora sí se hacen preguntas en presente simple. Ok, mire, entonces ya podré preguntarle a mi esposo, a mi novio, a mi novia, si tú me amas. Ah, ¿tú me amas? ¿Cómo será?
Profe, y el verbo no cambia, disculpe.
Perdón, perdón.
El verbo no cambia.
El verbo regresa a su forma base porque estoy utilizando un auxiliar, ¿sí lo ves?
Ajá.
Ah, esa es la regla clave, ¿te acuerdas? Cada vez que utilices un auxiliar, el verbo va en su forma base. Entonces, Pilar, Catherine, Carla, ¿cómo sería cuando usted le pregunta a su novio, novia, esposo o esposa, ¿tú me amas?
Do you love me?
Ah, ahí está, para su estado, para su estado. Hey, do you love me? Ah, y ya puedo decir que ya aprendí a decir eso. Miren, ya aprendí a decir eso. Ya aprendí a decir. Y entonces, miren, ya podré preguntarle a mi compañero, a mi compañera, etcétera, etcétera. ¿Te gusta inglés? ¿Te gusta a ti el inglés? ¿Cómo será? ¿Te gusta el inglés? ¿Te gusta el inglés?
Do you like English?
Ah, mira, ya sé cómo es, ya entendí. Do you like English? Aurora, ¿sí ven? Qué fácil que ha sido, ¿verdad? Entonces, ya podré preguntarle a una amiga si Estefanía come ensalada todos los días. Repito, Estefanía, ¿come Estefanía ensaladas todos los días? ¿Come Estefanía ensaladas todos los días? ¿Cómo será eso? Kerly, Michelle, ¿cómo será eso? ¿Come?
Does Stefania eat salad every day?
Oh, simple like that, Michelle. Does Estefania eat salad every day? Okay. In this case, we don't emphasize the verb. Ya no enfatizamos el verbo porque no hay ninguna conjugación. Ok, ya podré entonces preguntarle a mi sobrinito, a mi sobrinita, oye, ¿juegas videojuegos todos los días? ¿Juegas tú videojuegos todos los días? ¿Cómo será eso?
Do you play video games every day?
Oh, uy, do you play video games every day? Ya podré entonces decir que, o preguntar, ¿va José al parque todos los fines de semana? ¿Va José al parque todos los fines de semana, Natasha? ¿Cómo será eso? ¿Va José al parque todos los fines de semana?
Dois José al park
Go.
every week, every weekend.
Okay, now be careful, Natasha. Be careful, Natasha. No es dos, es das. ¿No? Das. All right? Das. Very good. Okay. Very simple, right? I'm surprised. Estoy sorprendido. So you're ready to practice questions? Vamos a practicar entonces questions. All right, guys? Yeah. So here, the same thing. In the same way. I am sharing in the chat. I am sharing the link for the questions, para las preguntas, okay? So you have the link. Let's practice the questions, okay? Here we go. Aquí tenemos. Veamos. What you have to do is to write the correct form of the questions, okay? So as you can see, here you have the first part. I wake up. I is the subject, wake up is the verb, right? And at 5 in the morning. Let's see, what will be the correct form of the questions?
No sé si esté bien, pero creo que es do you up? No.
Do you wake up? Ahí está. Do you wake up at 5 in the morning? ¿Por qué do, profesor? Porque el sujeto es I. ¿Sí lo ven? Y necesito siempre un auxiliar. Para preguntas siempre el auxiliar va primero, ¿verdad? ¿Eh?
Imagino que en you es I. Do I?
Exactamente. Sí, porque no podemos preguntarnos nosotros mismos y respondernos nosotros mismos, ¿verdad? ¿Eres loco? Sí, yo soy loco. No, no soy loco, ¿no? No. ¿Eres tú loco? La respuesta sería sí, yo soy loco. Ah, all right. So, do you wake up at 5 in the morning? ¿Te levantas tú a las 5 de la mañana? You do the rest. Hacemos el resto, chicos.
Do they go?
No, no, no. You do it first. Usted hágalo primero, después lo confirmamos, ¿verdad? You do it first. Lo hacen primero. You have 2 minutes. Tienen 2 minutos. And then we apply everything. Y luego aplicamos todito lo que aprendimos. Easy, Michelle, right? Muy sencillo, ¿verdad, chicos? Recuerden, solo utilizamos, número 1, solo conjugamos los verbos para tercera persona, en afirmativo. Número 2, cuando hagamos negativos, aplicamos los auxiliares. Do o das. Das para he, she or it. Do para el resto de personas. Número 3, cuando hagamos preguntas, el auxiliar va primero. Esta es la clave. All right. One more minute. Un minuto más, chicos. $30 seconds, 30 segundos, chicos, porque ya tenemos que practicar. All right, let's see. Veamos. Number 2. Catherine. Catherine, number 2. Catherine.
Do you go to work by train?
Absolutely. Do you go to work by train? ¿Vas al trabajo en tren? Very good. Michelle, number 3.
Does she drink?
Absolutely, Michelle. Does she drink coffee every morning? Very good. Simple like that. Next one, veamos. ¿A quién tengo aquí? Anaís. No, Pilar.
Does he smoke?
Absolutely, Miss. Qué bien, Pilar. Does he smoke? ¿Él fuma? ¿Sí? Ariana.
Profe, no me descarga no me carga la página.
Ok, veamos. Who's next? ¿Quién sigue? Carla.
Does it hurt?
Does it hurt? ¿Huele? Tamara.
you with us?
Absolutely, Tamara. Cuando vaya a la fiesta y quiera bailar con un chico que le gusta. We dance. ¿Bailamos? Ah, Solange.
Do they travel?
Absolutely, miss. Do they travel? Viajan. Domenica, number 8. Absolutely, miss. Does Emma cook? Cocina Emma? Let's see, who's next? Aurora, number 9. Remember, you should start with a auxiliar. Empezamos con un auxiliar, porque es pregunta, Aurora, ¿verdad? Identify the subject. Identifica el sujeto, Aurora. ¿Cuál es el sujeto?
Alexander.
Sander. Entonces, ¿utilizo do o utilizo das?
Das.
Ahí está, ya hizo lo más difícil. Entonces, ¿cómo sería?
Das, das Alexander.
¿Y el verbo?
Ejercicio.
Exercise. Ahí está, miren qué difícil era. Does Alexander exercise regularly? ¿Se ejercita Alexander regularmente? Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. Let's see, veamos. ¿Quién sigue? Santiago, number 10. Santiago, you there? Kerly.
Yes. Do I look?
Does I look? Does.
¿Y qué es un dus, Santiago? ¿O Kerly?
Does.
¿Qué es un dus?
Hola. Hola.
Kerly.
Does. Hola.
Kerly.
Hola.
Hola.
Does I look? Dos.
A ver, creo que hay una confusión muy grande, Kerly.
Sí.
Jamás hemos dicho dus. Hemos dicho que hay dos auxiliares, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Do or das.
Das.
Ok, pero no podría ser das porque das es para he, she, and it. Y como puedes ver, aquí el sujeto es I.
Entonces sería
Kerly, ¿qué pasó? Veamos. Ariana, you have that? Stefan.
Do I look well?
Absolutely, sir. Do I look well? ¿Me veo bien? Sí, very good. Let's see. Rosa.
Do you rest? ¿Cómo se pronuncia?
Enough. Very good, Rosa. Do you rest enough? ¿Descansaste suficiente? Very good, Rosa. Very, very good. Kenneth, number 12. Kenneth. Kenneth.
Entonces, ya voy un ratito. Se me dio la página.
Teacher, esta preguntita.
Go ahead, Anaís. In the meantime, vamos, Anaís.
¿Por qué sí se utiliza do I look well y arriba se utiliza do you white up?
Ok, es como lo entiendo, ¿verdad? Yo creo que aquí estoy viéndome, estoy viendo un espejo y le pregunto a alguien, ¿me veo bien?
Ya.
¿me veo bien? Le pregunto a usted si está peinando en su cuarto, en su cama, Y le pregunto a su mamá, mami, ¿me veo bien? Ah,
Ya, hay que entender la frase para ver si se
sí,
cambia
sí,
I o
efectivamente,
you.
efectivamente, efectivamente.
Ay,
Muy
yeah,
buena
thank you,
pregunta,
teacher.
muy buena
Sorry.
observación. William, Kenneth,
Does William work too hard?
can you repeat that? Can you repeat that?
Does William work too hard?
Ah, no, 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 no. No parece que escuchaste la corrección que le hice anteriormente. No es does. Nunca hemos dicho que hay un auxiliar does. Hay dos auxiliares, do o das. No hay más.
Does. Sorry.
Ah, entonces será does William.
work too hard?
Absolutely, sir. Does William work hard? Y lo enfatizamos para que sepan que yo lo aprendí, ¿verdad? Does William work hard? Very good. Let's see, who else? Kathy, number 13.
Do they travel?
Absolutely, miss. Do they travel? Very simple. Denise. Denise or Fernando?
Does Anthony to sleep too late?
Does Anthony
Go to sleep
go
too
to
late?
sleep? Absolutely, miss. Very good. Finally, I know we have more. Tenemos más, ¿verdad? Ryan. Ryan, are you there? Catherine.
Do you bake cake?
Absolutely, miss. Absolutely. Miren, ya podré decirle, mami, do you bake cakes? ¿Sabes hornear cakes, mami? Ah, very good. I'm impressed, guys. Estoy totalmente impresionado. So I consider that you are ready for the real exercise. Ahora sí, ya que hicimos todo este calentamiento, vamos a los ejercicios verdaderos, a los que son de nuestra categoría, ¿verdad? Okay, so remember, what we're going to do is to talk about daily routines using, of course, using simple present tense. Ese es nuestro objetivo. We're going to talk about daily routines using simple present tense. Eso es lo que haremos. Okay. So on the chat, I already shared the link of the Aneduca Play activity. Okay. You have that? Lo tenemos ahí. So check the chat. On your chat, you have the link of your Educa Play activity. What are we going to do? Okay. Remember, what you have to do is to find these daily activities in this puzzle. Okay. And you have 15 activities. You have brush the teeth, you know, the brush the teeth, eat breakfast, study English, take a shower, wash the face, do exercises, do homework, return home, get dressed, eat dinner, go to work, eat lunch, go to bed, and wake up. Okay, so those are the most common daily activities. Esas son las actividades más comunes que hacemos en el día, ¿verdad? What you have to do is to find these daily activities here in the puzzle. Remember, it can be up, down, up, left, right, or right, left. Okay, so you have 3 minutes. Tienen 3 minutos, chicos. And then we do with the final activity. Luego vamos a la actividad final. Remember this activity guys, because you will use it. Recuerden estas actividades porque las usarán, ¿verdad? 2 minutes. One minute. Mhm. One more minute, guys. Thirty seconds. All right, who finished? Did anybody finished? ¿Alguien terminó ahí, chicos? Nobody?
No yet.
Yet?
The letters are too small.
No, mister, I only find 4 words.
All
There is a
right,
really
so
good.
one more minute.
Finish, teacher.
All right, you finished. So can you please show us your work?
Wait a minute.
Can you please show us your work, please? Can you share your screen?
Yes.
Okay, let's see how you did, Maya.
Finish, teacher.
Okay, play again. You play again, Maya?
Okay.
Maya, can you share your screen, please? All right, very good. Okay, so you have return home, eat dinner, of course.
Finish.
All right, brush the teeth. Remember these activities because you will use it in few minutes. En unos minutos lo usarán. Wash the face. You do exercises. You go to work. Absolutely, you take a shower. Very good. You get dressed. Se viste. You get dressed. Absolutely. You do homework. You play soccer. And you study English. Very good. All right. All right. You just need wake up and you wake up. Remember the difference between wake up and get up. Thank you. Thank you, Maya. Very impressive. Very, very good. All right. So we have come to the very, very good exercise. Vamos al verdadero ejercicio. Veamos. Okay, we're practicing, we're going to practice everything that we have learned. We're going to practice the simple present tense. We're going to practice the simple present tense in affirmative and negative statements using, of course, all the rules, utilizando todas las reglas, okay? So this is what you're going to do. On the chat, I send you the link for this Padlet. Remember when we practice Padlet? ¿Se acuerda que utilizamos Padlet? Okay, so remember, the first thing you have to do is just to click here and you type your name. For example, Maya Pinargote, Solange Juan Galango, Natasha Sanchez. And then you start writing, and then you start writing, and then you start writing. What are you going to write about? Well, you are going to describe your and your family's daily activities. I repeat, using simple present tense in affirmative and negative statements, you are going to write about your and your family's daily routine. Okay? For example, veamos, yo empiezo, como siempre, haciéndole un reel. Okay? Aquí está. I write my name. In this case, I'm the professor. And veamos. I wake up at 6 a.m. Toma. My mother wakes up at 5:30. Okay. Period. I take a shower. Then I do exercises. And so on, etc., etc., etc. And I will describe the activities of my complete day. Describiré así las actividades, no solo las mías, pero las de mi familia, during the complete day, durante todo el día. All right, guys? So we have 15 minutes to do that. Tenemos 15 minutos para hacer eso.
Licenciada, disculpe, ¿que toda nuestra rutina?
Lo que hace y lo que no hace, para que utilice negativos, ¿verdad? ¿Eh? Aquí, por ejemplo, voy por ejemplo aquí a escribir, my father doesn't work every day. Y ahí ya utiliza negativos, ¿sí ven? The idea is to use everything that we learn. Esa es la idea, ¿verdad? Utilizar todo lo que aprendimos. Affirmative statements, negative statements. In simple present tense, respecting the rules, respetando todas las reglas, ¿verdad? Okay. Maya, my daily routine starts getting up, okay? Very good. My sister and my niece don't wake up. Very good. Affirmative and negative, affirmative and negative. Not only you, but your families. Toda su familia, ¿verdad? Para que utilice todas las auxiliares, para que utilice todas las personas. Okay. Catherine, I wake up at 6 a.m. And William, I wake up at 6 a.m. Carla, I get up, I wash my face, brush my teeth during the complete day, durante todo el día, chicos. I only have 8 students here in the Padlet. Solo tengo 8 hasta ahora. ¿Qué pasa con el resto? Okay. You just click on the screen. Solo haga un clic en la pantalla. Eso es todo. Remember the rules. Remember the auxiliaries. Acuérdense las reglas, los auxiliares, ¿verdad? Use affirmative. Use negative. También escriba negativo, por favor. Y no solo I. I live with my mom. Very good, Pilar. My older sister and my nephew. I wake up at 7 o'clock, okay? What else? ¿Qué más, Pilar? After that, después de eso, ¿qué más? Okay, in the meantime, I can teach you more. Les puedo enseñar más, chicos. Veamos. In the meantime. Okay, if you check here, just give me 1 second. Solo un segundo más. In the meantime, I can teach you more. Les puedo enseñar más. Entonces, these are connectors. You know what is a connector? Connector are some words that help me to connect words. Esas son las palabras que me ayudan a conectar palabras, ¿no? Los conectores. ¿Y cuáles son los conectores más comunes? Then. Luego. ¿Sí ven? And. Y. After. Después. Before. After that. Después de eso. Después de eso yo hago ejercicios. ¿No? What else? Another connector. But. Pero. Another connector. Then, and before that, after that, when you're about to finish, cuando ya está para terminar. Finally, ¿sí ven? Finalmente, voy a la cama. All right. Okay, I see more action here. Maya, let's see that. My dad and my mom get up at 5:30. Then we take a shower and get dressed. Very good, Maya. What else? ¿Qué más? Ariana, go ahead. Kenneth, what else, Kenneth? ¿Qué más, Kenneth? ¿Solo eso? Carla, what else? Is the you have to describe the complete day, Carla. Todo el día completo, Carla. That's why we check the daily activities in that puzzle. ¿Se acuerda del puzzle que hicimos? Aurora, go ahead, Aurora. Vamos, Aurora. You can do it, Aurora. Camila, my daily routine is I get up at 9 in the morning, I brush my teeth and face, and I take a shower. Camila, but what about your family, Camila? ¿Y su familia, Camila? Mi papá, mi mamá, para que conjuguen los verbos. Esa es la idea, ¿verdad? Ya sabe que cuando hablo de he or she or it, conjugo el verbo, ¿no? Esa es la idea. You can use the connectors. Puedes utilizar los conectores, ¿verdad? Ahí está. William los está utilizando. Very good. Stefan, use the connectors, Stefan. Utiliza los conectores, Stefan. Miren. Kathy, let's see. I have a breakfast. I get dressed and take a shower. What about Kathy? What about your family? ¿Y su familia, Kathy? No solamente I. No, no, no. What about the family? La familia. Nice. Michelle. Very good, Michelle. You use the connectors. Utilizo los conectores, Michelle. Very good. Solange. Very good. Dayanara, what else? What about your father, your mother, your cousin, your brother, your sister? This is when we apply everything. Aquí aplicamos todos ya, chicos, ¿verdad?
Professor, when we are talking about the night, is it correct to use at night or in the night?
No, is in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, at night.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, at night. You can use, of course, other activities. You watch TV, for example. You wash the dishes, for example. Okay. Absolutely. My father doesn't. Double check Natasha. Natasha, double check the contraction of doesn't. Revise bien la contracción de doesn't, Natasha. Remember, you can use in two forms, right? You can use the complete form, does not, or doesn't, which is the contraction, or do not, or don't, which is the contraction. You know, two forms, dos formas. Okay. Aurora, go ahead, Aurora. I don't have a name here. Camila, I get at 9 in the morning, I brush my teeth. What about your family, Camila? What about your family, Camila? Don't forget to use connectors. Denise, use connectors, please. Denise. Aurora, don't forget to use connectors. You have the connectors here. Remember, the connectors are the words of the symbols that help me to connect ideas. Dayanara, very good. Okay. Dayanara, about your father, your mother, your sister, your brother. And use connectors, Dayanara. Very, very good. Impressive. Very impressive. But Domenica, you do it here in the Padlet, Domenica. You have the link? Domenica. You can do it here in the Padlet, Domenica. You have the link? No, I'll share the link with you again, okay? All right, Domenica, I send you the link. With that link, you just make a click here on the screen. Solo hace un clic en la pantalla and you start writing. Impressive. I don't have a name here. Suli, I wake up at 8 in the morning. I have breakfast and my dad wake up. Suli, use the connectors, please, Suli. You know what? I don't see that you are using negative statements. Please use negative statements, of course. That is the idea, to practice affirmative and to practice negative statements. Something that you don't do in your daily activity, lo que no hace en su actividad diaria. Yo no cocino todos los días, por ejemplo. O yo no voy al gimnasio todos los días. Mi mamá no lava la ropa todos los días. Okay, use negative too. Natasha, what else, Natasha? That's it. Eso es todo lo que hace todo el día, Natasha. What else? Aurora, what else? Aurora, use the connectors, please. Camila, what else? All right, what else, Kelly? ¿Qué más, Kelly? Continue. Melissa, what else? Melissa. Let me see, Carla. I get up and I wash my face, I brush my teeth. But I don't clean the house every day. In the afternoon, my children, that is plural, very good. What about your husband, your sister, your brother, your mother, your father? What else, Carla? I want you to conjugate the verbs respecting the rules, of course. Absolutely, Michelle. Very, very good, Michelle. Very good conjugation of the verbs. Brian, what else? I don't have a name here. Denise, use the connectors, Denise. All right, guys, 5 more minutes. All right, very, very good, guys. All right, very, very impressive. 2 more minutes. Kerly, what else, Kerly? Ryan, what else? Very impressive, guys. I'm really impressed. All right, very, very good. Wow, you write even better than my students at Pedagogía de los Idiomas Nacionales y Extranjeros. ¿Eh? Escriben hasta mejor que los estudiantes de la carrera. Wow, I'm impressed. I'm really impressed, guys.
Profesor, soy Melissa. Yo estaba escribiendo, por eso no salía nada, solo mi nombre, y no lo había subido, lo siento. Estaba escribiendo ahí mismo.
We're about to finish, ya casi terminamos. 2 more minutes, guys. 2 minutos más. Because we have to do the last part, la última parte del 30%. All right, guys. Very, very good. Congratulations. Wow. I'm really, really impressed. I'm really, really impressed, guys. Okay. So let's go with the last part. Vamos a nuestra última clase, nuestra última parte de la clase. All right. And we're going to cover the last part. Well, so far, we have covered, hemos cubierto, affirmative statements, negative statements, questions in simple present tense. The last part is WH questions. Remember when we practice WH questions with the verb be? ¿Se acuerdan eso? Well, here's the same. Aquí es lo mismo, solo que le vamos a agregar 2 cosas. El auxiliar y el WH question. Remember the WH question, right? We use who for people. We use what for things. We use where for places. we'll use when for time. We use how for situation. We use what time for a specific hours. All right. So teacher, how do I write a WH question in simple present tense? Very simple, muy sencillo. Vamos a ver aquí. Veamos el primer ejercicio. What do you eat every weekend? As you can see, I am using what because I will refer to things. Porque me refiero a cosas, ¿verdad? I use what. Miren, ¿qué comes todos los fines de semana? ¿Ah? What? But I can also use other WH questions. También puedo utilizar otras preguntas cuando leo, ¿verdad? Where does Mary run every day? As you can see, two things. Aquí hay dos cosas que hay que sobresalir, ¿verdad? We use, it's exactly the same question. Miren que es la misma pregunta que ya hicimos. ¿Sí ven? Do, does, do. Solo que antes de la pregunta le ponemos un WH question. Dependiendo de lo que querramos, por supuesto, preguntar, ¿verdad? Let's see, veamos el otro. What does Carlos study every Wednesday? ¿Sí? What does Carlos study every Wednesday? I am using what because I refer to a thing, right? Why does it rain every day? Why? The reason, la razón, ¿verdad? And when do we run in the park? In the afternoon, in the morning, or at night. Okay? As you can see, it is exactly the same questions that we just did. Son las mismas preguntas que hicimos anteriormente, ¿se acuerdan? But now we add a WH question. Pero ahora le agregamos un WH question. Based on this, basados en esto, what other WH questions can we make? ¿Qué otras preguntas con W podemos hacer in simple present tense? Any of you, vamos, cualquiera, just raise your hand, solo levante su mano. Now that you are practicing English and Italian, I can ask, for example, why do you like Italian? Why do you like French? ¿Por qué les gusta el italiano? ¿Por qué les gusta el francés? Ah, ¿por qué? ¿Ah? What other questions can we make? ¿Qué otras preguntas podríamos hacer con WH questions in simple present tense? Any of you, vamos, cualquiera de ustedes. Anaís, go ahead. Catherine, go ahead.
What does the teacher do after class?
Absolutely. What does the teacher do after class? ¿Qué hace el profesor después de clases? Cook, cocinar. All right. What else? What other WH questions can we make? Y así ya tiene la estructura, la puedo hacer para cualquier otra, ¿verdad? What other WH?
Licenciado, ¿podría
Go
ser
ahead,
esta?
Natasha.
¿Podría ser esta? Where did you live?
What do you like? What do you like? ¿Qué te gusta? ¿Sí? What do you like? ¿Qué te gusta? Very good.
Podría ser where do you live?
Ah, mire. Ya le puedo preguntar a alguien que no conozca, ya le puedo decir, hey, where do you live? ¿Dónde vives? Ah, Diana. No, Dayanara.
What time do you wake up?
What time do you wake up? ¿A qué hora te levantas? Ah, very, very good. Very good. What else? Other one, otra más.
What time do we start in Italian classes?
Ah, very good. What time do we start the Italian class? What time do we finish the French class? Ah, ya tiene todo sentido, profesor. Ahora sí entiendo, ¿ok? Le agrego un WH question, un auxiliar y el verbo en su forma base. Wow. Pilar, vamos Pilar, falta la suya.
Where do you work?
Ah, very good, Pilar. Oye, ¿dónde trabajas? Where do you work? Very good, very, very good. What else? Solange. Solange.
Estoy pensando.
Vamos, in the meantime, mientras tanto, Kerly. También está pensando. Félix.
Hola.
Félix.
Teacher,
Okay, Kerly,
teacher.
go ahead.
Where do you play soccer?
Absolutely, sí. Si quieres saber dónde
¿Dónde
juega alguien.
juegas?
Hey,
Juega
where do you play
fútbol.
soccer? ¿Dónde juegas fútbol tú? Ah, en
Ajá.
Samanes, en La Libertad. Ah, ok, very good. Ahí está ya la pregunta. What else? Michelle.
What do you do in the morning?
Ah, very good. What do you do in the morning? Go ahead, Dayanara.
Teacher. Ya tengo la mía.
ahead.
Where do you study?
Study.
Study.
Yes,
Where do you
very
study?
good, Solange. Where do you study? ¿Dónde estudias? What else? ¿Qué más? Wow, miren todas las preguntas que salen. Dayanara, you raise your hand, Dayanara?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Which ice cream do you want?
What ice cream do you want? Very good. Si sale a comer con alguien, ¿y qué lado deseas? Ah, what else? Ariana.
Todavía estoy pensando. Teacher.
Okay, Kenneth.
Where do you see the movie?
Where do you see the movie? Where do you watch the movie? ¿En dónde vas a ver esa película? Very good, very good. Edison.
Where do you study English?
Very good, sir. Where do you study English? Denise.
What time do you finish work?
Absolutely, Miss Kathy.
Who do the math homework?
Who does the math homework? ¿Quién hace el trabajo? All right, very, very good. Very, very good. Aurora. You can do it, Aurora. Vamos, si puede hacerlo.
Why did you like to go to the beach?
Oh, why do you like to go to the beach? ¿Por qué te gusta ir a la playa? Very good, Aurora. Very good. Very, very good. All right, guys. So listen, today we practice negative statements, questions, and WH questions in simple present tense. And we practice also an activity with EducaPlay, and we also practice an activity with Padlet, which was very, very productive. I am impressed, to be honest. You write very, very good in English, okay? So what is the homework about? What is your first homework about, okay? So let me share my screen again. What is your first homework about? All right. Well, if you check here in your platform, in your unit number 1, you have the first homework, okay? You have the first homework, okay? That is homework number 1 for 10 points. Listen to me. In a video, no more than 2 minutes, no more than 2 minutes, you will describe, you will relate the routines of your family and your routine as well. I repeat, in a video, no more than 2 minutes, you will relate what is the daily routine of your family and what is your daily routine as well. I will ask you to use affirmative statements and negative statements in simple present tense. All right? Then you upload that video to YouTube and you send here only the link. You will send only the link of that video. Exactly the same way we did the previous course, all right? Any questions about this activity, guys? I will receive this activity until next Friday. That means that you have 1 week to do this video, to record this video. Any questions about the homework, guys?
It's a video.
It is a video, no more than 2 minutes, Dayanara. No more than 2 minutes, all right? The idea is to practice the simple present tense and the daily activities, not only your activities, but also your family's activities. All right? If there are no more questions, thank you guys. I will receive your first homework until next Friday. I hope
Thank you, teacher.
I hope you like the class. You like the class, Catherine?
Yes.
Thank you. So have a nice weekend and hopefully I'll see you next Saturday. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Bye.